Have you ever wondered what you should be eating as a healer? Sweet or savory, spell speed or piety? Well, we're going to answer all of those questions and more today, but fair warning, all this talk of food may make you hungry. So grab a snack, pull up a chair, and let's get on with the basics. In Final Fantasy XIV, eating food provides buffs or special benefits to the person consuming it for 30 minutes. It's also important to note that players can only be under the effect of one meal at a time, so no stacking buffs and no need to taste test everything. Because of this one meal limitation, it's important for us to choose a meal that's right for us as healers, and I know that can seem daunting considering how many options there are, but we're going to break that down and make it simple. Honestly, you don't need the additional buffs to your stats while you're leveling, but this doesn't mean you shouldn't be eating. You should always be eating while leveling, because all food gives you a 3% boost to your XP gain, and it may seem small, but that can really add up over time. If you're buying the wrong stuff, absolutely. Trying to keep yourself full on expensive meals is gonna put quite a dent in your guild purse if you're not careful. But remember what I said. We don't need the stats while leveling, we just want that 3% XP buff. So instead of eating 5-star meals, we're gonna cheap out and go with the tried and true boiled egg. You can pick up a boiled egg for 5 gil from the independent culinarian in every major city. For healers, food will start to matter once you reach the max level of the current expansion, and it'll give you that extra edge in the more difficult content. So let's say we've reached that point. Which food should we eat? Well, that's easy. Which stats do you feel are the most important? Each food will give a buff to 3 different stats, so from here it just becomes a game of finding the right recipe, so to speak. Obviously, mind is your number 1 stat, but there aren't any foods that give that, so scratch that off the list. What else should you be looking for as a healer? Piety is a very important stat, as it directly affects how quickly your MP will regenerate during combat. So if you're having MP issues, you might want to start there and use piety foods such as golden pineapple juice. Spell speed increases casting and recasting time of your spells. The higher the value, the shorter your cast times. It also affects your heal over time and damage over time spells, not how frequently they hit, but how much they hit or recover for. That being said, it's not that much and you'll get much more from the other stats. Crit is great for heals and doing damage. The more you have, the better it performs. Now let's talk about determination and direct hit. Direct hit does more damage, but not by much, while determination increases your damage and healing. If you're doing just fine in the healing department, then that extra little bit with direct hit may be for you. Personally, I like the thought of a slight boost to my healing for those oh no moments, so I try to stick with determination as my secondary stat, if I can. Again, it really depends on you as a healer and what you're comfy with. So now that you know more about stats, let's do a quick comparison. Let's take a look at smoked chicken, chicken fettuccine, and Twilight Popoto salad. All 3 have crit hit increase on them, so which one's the best for healer? Well, we can look at the numbers and see that crit hit isn't the main stat on smoked chicken, it's capped at 86. And while chicken fettuccine has a higher cap, its other substat is skill speed, which isn't useful for healers at all. Meanwhile, Twilight Popoto salad gives me the most bang for my buck in the crit department and gives me a bit of spell speed. But smoked chicken gives me determination. So which one should I choose? Both are great for healers. Which is the best depends on your gear, materia, and playstyle. I personally always try to get as much crit as possible, so my go-to is Twilight Popoto salad, but there are times where smoked chicken would be better. But this is diving into the world of stat tiers and optimization, which is beyond the scope of what most players are looking for. So the next question I often get is whether or not you need HQ food. Well, that depends on if you'll get any use out of it. Let's stick with our Twilight Popoto salad example. The high quality version of the salad increases my percentage from 8 to 10, and increases my cap. But this is only worth it if I'm reaching the cap. Now, if I were still gearing up and 10% of my crit was only 118, then there's really no reason for me to get the high quality food, as I'm not gaining anything from it. In fact, at 118, I don't even need to be using the highest tier food yet, and I can save some money by dropping down a tier or 2. Now, of course, we've covered the basics, but there's always an exception. Earlier, I said you only needed to worry about food at max level, But if you're attempting endgame content from previous expansions at minimum eye level, say the early Ultimates or Savage Raid tiers, you'll still want to pop some food for those occasions. Do your math, make sure you're buying the right stuff, and you'll be good to go. Also, if you just want to use level appropriate food while you're leveling, that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with wanting to put your best foot forward at all times. Just remember you might start to feel it from time to time in your wallet, and it's not necessary to clear leveling content. All this talk of food has me craving something sweet, and there's no one sweeter than my patrons. So I just want to give a huge shout out to my scions Lawrence, Kaz, Matthew, JF0, Carlos, Pigeon, Siren, Krios, Alex, Hardcore Mike, Kaori, Anna, and Professor Chaos. Also, a huge shout out to my forum members as well. Your support means the world to me, and I look forward to producing more and more cool things on Patreon for you guys. Alright, that's it for this video. Take care, Eorzeans. I'll see you next time.